My guest for Voices of the Valley is someone who I love to see coming. Carlos Lopez, Spanish broadcaster for UT Athletics, Vamos Vols, one of the biggest personalities I've met in East Tennessee. And that says a lot because I've met a lot of people. I love coming in contact with you. You're good people and it shows right off the bat. So thank you for joining me.
Oh, are you kidding me? What an amazing blessing this is. When I got the invitation, I was so happy. I've got to join you a little bit here on some special projects, with Spanish broadcasting, but to sit right here one-on-one with you with somebody that is also a legend in this community. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
That's the invite back another time.
That's the invite back.
But let's talk about your life because, when I first met you and we were talking about your passion for sports and for bringing the Spanish language and access to the Spanish community with sports, that was intriguing enough. But then I got to learn a little bit about your story and how you got to East Tennessee. And I think it's a story people need to hear because it's fascinating. So first, let's talk about your childhood before you came here to the United States.
I've been longer in the United States now than I was in Venezuela. I've been now here for 23 years. I migrated from Venezuela at the age of 11 years old. My mother worked for the national police in Venezuela. And in 1998, Hugo Chavez started his campaign for the presidency of our country. Something that my mother and I talked about till this day was how did she know that something was going to occur in Venezuela the way that it has occurred. In 1999, Hugo Chavez doing his speeches and all the stuff that he was doing, he would mention Fidel Castro as his commandant, as his commander-in-chief. And my mother would say, wait a minute, you're talking Fidel Castro, the communist of Cuba? He's your commander-in-chief? What's going to happen in our country in Venezuela? So in 1999, my mother made the toughest decision that she tells me till this day is to, hold up, when you talk about your mom is something it hits hard. She made a decision to migrate, to leave her two boys in Venezuela in 1999 to come to the United States in a search. But what is fascinating, it wasn't a search for her future. It was a search for a future for her two boys. I have an older brother, and it's fascinating now that I'm older and I get to speak to my mother about all the things that she did. And we arrived in the United States in 2001. 2 years later, after my mother came to the United States, she found a place. And in 2001, we ended up right here in good old East Tennessee.
What were those 2 years like without your mom?
So we stayed with our paternal grandmother. Okay, that childhood is also has shaped me into the man that I am today and to the father that I am today to my two beautiful babies. My father had another family. So it was something that we didn't know because we were young. But after my mother leaves and we're staying with our paternal grandmother, it was tough because all we've known is being with our mother. There were people in Venezuela, family members of ours that would say, hey, your mother abandoned you guys. Your mother went to America to be with another man and blah, blah, blah. It was negative stuff that were put in our brain. But when 2001 came around and she came back, she said, hey, this is what I've been doing. Are you guys wanting to stay here or do you guys want to come with me to the United States? So now my mother working for the national police, you're a government worker. Once Hugo Chavez starts his campaign, he asked for all government workers for the next 7 months the election was in 1999. So in 1999, for 7 months, he asked for all government workers, I think it was like 20 or 30% of their paycheck, to go to him. Out of 200 or 250 employees in the admin department of the Policía de Caracas, the Caracas police, my mother was the only one that signed no, that she was not going to contribute her 30% of her check. That's when the threats came. She got fired a week later, so she was like, well, what's going on here? Fast forward, we're here in America now, but those 2 years without our mother, we had to grow up faster than a regular 8, 9-year-old had to. We had to grow up quick. So, but 2001 came around, and we're right here in good old Seymour, Tennessee.
And you know, it's when you say Seymour, it's the first time I met you, I was like, he has sort of a country twang,
Yeah.
but with the Spanish accent.
Oh, yeah.
It shows your roots. It shows your roots. What was it like moving to Seymour?
Well,
Did
I'll
you
tell
know
you
English?
what. I did not know how to speak English
Okay.
when we came to the United States.
Okay.
And now, you know, you have all this technology now. We didn't have any of that back in the day. So I used to walk around with a little dictionary, just learning the numbers, learning words. I knew how to say yes, thank you. I knew the days of the week, months of the year. And I knew the first question that I learned was, where are you from? So I did learn where are you from because everybody, where are you from, where are you from, where are you from? And my answer was, I am from Venezuela. So I knew that. But funny story, I knew how to say yes and thank you. I'm in 6th grade here. I remember I'm in Miss Long's 6th grade class. And whenever I get done with the day, I leave the school with like 46 pencils. And then I'm like, why do I have so many pencils? Then when I started learning English, I understood what they were asking me. They were asking me, do you need a pencil? And all I could say was, yes, thank you. They would just give me pencils. They would give me pens. And I was like, why do I have so many pencils and pens? Do you need a pencil? Yes, thank you. So there we go. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Wild. Yeah.
That is awesome. Getting to high school, is that when you discovered a love of football?
Yes, it really started in the middle school area. I did see some of those games. In the 8th grade, I tried a little bit, but I didn't really understand the game. So I was done with it. I get to high school, my sophomore year at Seymour High School. I'm playing soccer. You know, Venezuela is soccer and baseball. Football. My brother and I decided football at that time because we were more involved on the field. I didn't like that I had to wait 9 batters or 8 batters for me to go hit again. I wanted to be in the action at all times. So that's why I chose football over baseball. But we get here, we're playing soccer. I get to my sophomore year at Seymour High School, and my high school football coach, Gary Householder, said, hey, I see you kicking soccer ball. Do you want to try out football? My mom was totally against it. She said, I see the injuries. You cannot play. So Coach Householder goes and speaks to my mom and says, Miss Arley, all he's going to do is kick and punt. And she said, are you sure? Yes, that's all he's going to do. And that's when the love of football began. It was my sophomore year. We went on to play. It was my first year playing. We went on to go play against Powell Valley, Virginia, Powell Valley High School, and I had the game-winning field goal. I think it was like a 33-yard field goal, and the Friday Night Lights, and I was like, wait a minute. The people yelling, I was like, there's a lot more people here in this football game than it is in the spring for soccer.
It got you.
We might have something. Yeah.
It got you.
Oh, yeah.
What happens next? Because you went on to do very well and to have some post-college fun.
Yeah. So we're there, sophomore year, junior year, senior year comes around, and we're just developing. We're just developing in the game. This is where I start. My senior year is where I really start finding that, man, I have something here. You have schools looking at you, have some of your friends signing college scholarships and this and that. They're having their signing day. I didn't have any of that. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was playing soccer still at the time. I went to an academy at Clemson University. It was an invitational only camp. Did very well. I had an offer from VMI. I had an offer from Clemson to play soccer. And man, I really wanted to take that. And then Ken Sparks comes around from Carson Newman College and has a conversation with me, says, I really think that you can do something with football, and I want you to be my kicker at Carson Newman. Come 2008, I graduate from Seymour High School, and I earn a scholarship at Carson Newman College at that time. Go on, I have a very successful career at Carson Newman, being a all-conference kicker, graduated early because of the Spanish. I ended up getting a bachelor's degree in Spanish as a profession because I wanted to be a court interpreter.
Really?
I wanted to be a court interpreter or an interpreter in a hospital. I always knew that Spanish And being bilingual in an area like East Tennessee, in that time in 2001, early 2000s, you don't have the Hispanic population that we have now. So I always knew that being bilingual was going to help somebody. So I get a bachelor's degree, I get an opportunity because now since you graduate early, you have an extra year of eligibility. Come Middle Tennessee, one of the coaches from Middle Tennessee, through James Wilhoit, who helped me through my Carson Newman career as my kicking coach, he puts me in contact with Middle Tennessee State University. I get an opportunity to go get a master's degree at MTSU and also play the 2012 season. Incredible season. I kick a bunch of field goals. We graduate Middle Tennessee State, and then I get an opportunity to kick in the Arena Football League for the Tampa Bay Storm. So, you know.
You headed to Florida.
Headed to Florida. And this is where, in 2012, 2013, it's where my life really starts to change. My mindset 12 years ago, 13, 14 years ago is, where am I going to go? My mind was, I got to do something for me. And being in grad school, you know, and I'm keeping it real.
Please do.
Grad school, I'm having fun, getting in relationships here and there. I end up having my first child. I end up having my daughter, who is going to turn 12 in April. She's born, and I have to make a decision. I have to make a decision in 2013 when she's born. Either do I live for myself or do I start living for others? Meaning my daughter. Something that truly changed my life for the better. I went through the nastiest custody battle for my daughter. We don't have to get into details on that, but this is real. This is real life. I'll take it to my grave. That everything that I've been through, everything that I went through for the first 6-7 years of my daughter's life was a test. 12 years ago when my daughter was born, I told God, okay, this is it. I'm living for somebody else now. My life is done. You know, I get done playing professional football. In 2014, I come back here to Seymour. My life is different. I got to do something because I have to provide for a little girl. I'm doing my thing. I get hired at Alcoa High School. Okay. In 2014, I get hired at Alcoa High School. I'm going as a special teams coach. I'm also, you know, little side gigs here and there. This is not stable, Carlos. You got to provide, man. You got to provide. I get an opportunity from Alcoa, and they said, hey, you speak Spanish. We need a Spanish teacher. We're going to help you go back to school. Man, I was like, go back to school? Again?
You've been doing great.
Best decision I ever made in my life. In 2015, I enrolled at the University of Tennessee, and I earned a second master's degree in world language ed. Throughout this time, I'm sharing custody with my daughter and her mother. I'm trying to provide, trying to spend more time with my daughter, but the schedule's not allowing. I said, I got to do something to be on the same schedule with my kid. Well, now I've been teaching for the past 10 years. And again, what I went through, I don't wish upon my worst enemy. We're talking the nastiest custody battle in the world that shaped my life to what it is now. 2 years ago, as we have come to where we're at now, 2 years ago, and while I'm at Middle Tennessee trying to shape my life, everybody is always trying to find, everybody is always seeking for that place where they belong. I had a professor at Middle Tennessee State, but remember back in the day, it was a word about me. I'm on Mel Kiper's. I'm on Mel Kiper, who is an NFL analyst. I'm on Mel Kiper's top 15 kickers to go to the NFL. I'm on Mel Kiper's top 15 list for kickers to go to the NFL. Boom, done. Didn't happen. Go to the Arena Football League. I'm, trying to find that place where I belong. It was all about me. I had a professor, Dr. Colby Juvenville, who looked at my face, and from that moment on, what he said to me has engraved so much in my brain that look what we get to do now. He said, Carlos, you got to grow up. We've had conversations, and it's not like we were fighting or arguing during the classroom, but it was just so worried about where I was going that I wasn't paying attention to sit back to realize that it was not about me. It was about how I can help somebody. He looked at me and said, Carlos, you got to be the best at what matters most. And I was like, man, I got to be the best father. This is what matters to me now. And then always searching for that place where I belong. We get, through time, going through that custody battle, fighting, never giving up. It took me 9 years. My daughter's going to be 12 in April. It took me 9 years. Continue to fight. Continuing to find that place where I belong. 2 years ago, Tearsa, we post an online clip seeing what's in our surroundings, the Hispanic community doing nothing but growing in East Tennessee. I said, this is no longer about me. What can I do for my Hispanic community to give them a voice? We're here. We're here. What can I do for my Hispanic community?
So your love of football, your love of your community, especially Hispanic community, I think a lot of folks before you came on the scene with Vamos Vols didn't really put two and two together. I think a lot of times we see sports and we just think everybody will just watch what is currently there. And you just learn over time to learn, some of the key words, but you saw an opportunity to bring it to your community in their language, in your language.
Yeah.
What was the reception like?
The reception is unbelievable. We have now been featured SEC Network, ESPN. We've had an opportunity to be with Mr. Paul Feinbaum, on his radio show. One of the people that has the longest, radio show on ESPN. We have been featured on Telemundo Deportes. We are now everywhere in Latin America.
If y'all don't know, Telemundo's huge. I'm from Miami. Telemundo is huge.
Telemundo's big.
You've arrived. You've made it on Telemundo.
The telenovelas,
That's
all
right.
that stuff on Telemundo. Telemundo is huge. And for them to reach out and say, hey, what you are doing in Tennessee is huge. But in my mind, I still don't see what some people see because I'm still in the hustle mode, if I may. Mm-hmm. We haven't reached as many people as we need to. We still have work to do. We're only doing football right now. We've broadcasted all football games for Tennessee Athletics. My mindset is like, now we got to do baseball. Now we got to do men's basketball. Now we got to do women's basketball. I know it's,
No, but why not?
Why not?
Honestly, why not?
In my mind, that's my mind.
Why not?
That's my mind. But to be featured in all these places and to have people that have had the career that they've had, especially one of the ones that you've had on this show, Mr. Bob Kessling. To have Mr. Bob Kessling, 26-year career, just wrapped it up in football, to look at you and say, hey, I think this is fantastic. This is something that the Vol Network has tried to do. We've actually had conversations, but we just never really had the right person. That just goes to show that we're doing something right. To have those meetings with the administration at the University of Tennessee and for them to put that trust in me, because at the end of the day, it goes back to, it's not about me. Now we are put in a platform where we are not just representing our family. I'm not just representing my kids. I'm not just representing my wife, my mother, all the sacrifices she's made. But now we are representing a whole state. Now we are representing a whole conference. We're the fourth school in the SEC to have Spanish broadcasting. Now we are representing a whole country because now we're on Telemundo. So now it's just a ladder. It's just a domino effect of now hey, Carlos, everything that you've worked for, now we got to be extra careful. Now I don't just have my daughter, but now I got my little man. 3 years old, I was able to get married. My beautiful wife, Hannah, gave me the best blessing of my life, which is my son. Now he's waking up every morning, and the first thing he says is, Vamos Vols.
I believe
Vamos
it.
Vols. My daughter is in the 6th grade. Now she's seeing everything that we're doing. She is now joined her broadcasting team at her middle school, where she gives the news in English, and then they have her do some Spanish stuff sometimes.
Oh, I love that.
Where my son's bilingual, my daughter's bilingual. It's been something, it's been so special. The Seymour community, I get messages weekly. Carlos, you are making our community proud. You know, you're talking a little small town right here in Seymour. And then now people are sending me, Carlos, do you realize that you're one of the voices of the SEC?
That's huge.
It's huge.
That's huge.
It's huge.
How'd you come up with the catchphrase for Vamos Vols? Because, and also, please know if you've never heard him do it, he doesn't just go like Vamos Vols. Like, give it to me the way you do it on broadcast. Come on, give it to me.
Aquí estamos las 2, 3, 2, 1. Vamos Vols! That's what we do, man.
Every time I hear that.
That's what we do.
Y'all know I don't know sports, but I get so hyped.
How did we come up with that catchphrase? You have Vols with a V.
Okay.
And I just needed, that alliteration right there. I needed that VV. So now my son, every picture that we take, he goes like this: Vamos Vols.
Let's go Vols.
Vamos Vols, go Vols in Spanish.
Go Vols.
Yeah. That's
Oh
it.
my goodness.
I love it. I love it.
Where do you see this going? Because this is, I think it's bigger than even you thought it was going to be in the beginning.
You're right about what you're saying right there. To have been in the places that I've been now, to having conversations with people that I have dreams. I have dreams. I see my vision is to create a network within tennis. Now, this is just me.
Okay.
This is, nobody has told me anything. This is me and you conversing. This is me telling you one of my prayers. We have so many international students here at the University of Tennessee. We have so many Latin American students coming here to give their all for our university. I want to create something for them. I want to create something because some of these athletes that are here, their families are not here with them. So are they able to watch their sons and daughters play, or are they able to listen to their sons and daughter, whatever country they're
about
at?
that?
Never, maybe not. Because a lot of people, one of the conversations before we started the broadcast was, but do we really have the market? I'm extremely thankful for Mr. Jeff Jarnigan, the sports animal. For somebody to have my back, they've all had my back. I don't even know if there was like a voting system, but every single person in the administration in Tennessee, they all voted yes. Danny White, Donde Plowman, unbelievable. We are expanding the Power T. We just got a message a couple of weeks. I don't even know if you saw that or not, but I posted it on social media. Somebody sent me a message that there was a watch party. They streamed the game and they streamed the Spanish broadcast to the Vanderbilt in a little small town in Samana Bay in the Dominican Republic. Over 100 Dominicans in the Dominican Republic were streaming our Vanderbilt game in the Spanish broadcast. So now, we're just expanding. Colombia, Venezuela, to have Mr. Fuad Revés, VFL, NFL legend, be a part of this has been without missing a beat. He said, Carlos, I want to be a part of this. Him telling me his memories when he's a child, listening to, he was down there in Miami, listening to those Dolphin games in Spanish with his father. He turned the TV down and turned the Spanish radio up. Now we get to create those memories for the future generation. If that's impactful, I don't know. But I wanted to do something. Do you remember Santiago Vescovi?
Yes.
Basketball player from Uruguay. Now he's gone on to play, overseas. We did a Vamos Vols episode with him. One of the things, we get done, we wrap up the interview, and he says, hey, we're speaking Spanish, I'm translating. I wanted to tell you thank you for interviewing me in my native language, because when all my interviews are in English, and when I speak English, I don't feel like I'm speaking with as much passion as I do when I speak Spanish. Wow. A player. He got to send that clip to Uruguay. We have our women's tennis team, our men's tennis team, our swim team that have internationals. We do episodes with all of them. They get to send those clips. Puerto Rico, Paraguay, Venezuela. We have a new now those families get to see what their sons and daughters are doing here in Tennessee.
Oh, that gives me chills. Yeah, because, at the end of the day, these are parents who are sending their children out of the country to go pursue their passions. And you wish you wish the best you wish big for your
Absolutely.
kids. And to then see the fruit of your labor and to be able to hear it in a language you understand, that's
Absolutely.
That's huge.
And another thing that many people don't know is our women's tennis head coach, she's Mexican American, Alison Ojeda. Our women's golf head coach, Diana Cantu, Mexican. I mean, fluent in Spanish. We had our women's golf team featured on Vamos Vols. Alison Ojeda speaks Spanish as well. It's something that people reach out. Carlos, well, we didn't know we had a Mexican head coach. Now you do. It was all about embracing the Latin American community within an everything school. Mm-hmm. You've seen what all the athletics departments are doing. I mean, the admin in this university, and for them, I'll say this: we've been playing football since 1891, and in 2024, we have the first full Spanish broadcast for our football team. That just goes to show you what this admin stands for. Mm-hmm. They do want to see this university grow even bigger. That Power T is powerful. That's why it's called a Power T. Everywhere you go, you see a Vols or you see a Power T, and for them to allow this opportunity, extremely grateful to the university.
Do you see from what you've done, do you see how it pulls in communities that may have felt like they were watching from the outside in, now feeling like they're inside as well?
The Hispanic community that we have, not just in Knoxville, but within our surrounding counties, Jeff County, Lenoir City, Sevier County, they feel now, with and not just with the adults, but with the students in high schools. Sevier County, high population, Loudon, Lenoir City. Now you have people reaching out to me and saying, hey, we're listening to your broadcast. Now we have businesses within our Knoxville communities. Hey, how can we get to sponsor Vamos Vols? Because we want to reach the Spanish community. And it's just something that it's been every week throughout the year for football, we saw nothing but growth. New people coming in, new people listening in. We had a family from Canada tuning in. We had 10 families from Cuernavaca, Mexico tuning in, Colombia. The interview for Telemundo was from Argentina. So Vamos Vols reached all the way down 5,000 miles in Buenos Aires, Argentina. So it's been something that has been super impactful, not just in my life, but in the life of others here in Tennessee.
So your first official broadcast, like the first time you got to get in the stadium and do the thing, were you nervous? You're hype on your own, when you're on your own turf. But then to finally get in and see your dream, what was that like?
It was having Fuad right there beside me, that with the experience that he brings to the broadcast, and I don't know if a lot of people know, but he is extremely funny. So we're just cracking up the whole time. Yes, we have to be professional and we have to, provide the broadcast. But it was like we've been doing it for years. And then we get done, and then it's Texas A&M, and Oklahoma that have Spanish broadcasting. For all of those play-by-play broadcasters to reach out to me and say, what you're doing is unbelievable. It's, Carlos, you're not only a broadcaster, but you're an entertainer. Because one of the things that I'm seeing is, and I'm doing my research, there's not a Vamos Vols series, as in people are going and interviewing their Spanish-speaking athletes within their university. And not just like a one-on-one sit down here, but I don't know if you've seen those, but I actually go and practice with the team.
Oh, I've seen.
With the swim team. I'm swimming with them. I'm diving with them from the platform, blabbering everything. But I'm diving in there. I'm swinging a tennis racket. I'm swinging a golf club. I'm kicking with the kickers. It's something that, it's not just like a sit-down one-on-one with an athlete and they're just talking, but they're also active. They're showing you what to do. One of my favorite shows growing up, which I used to learn English, was Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe. You remember that show?
Yes.
Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe. He actually went in and did the jobs. That's what I wanted to do. I want to go in there. I want to do what you do, and in the time that we're practicing, we'll talk about your life.
Do you have a most memorable moment throughout this journey?
I tell you what, I'm gonna go away a little bit from athletics.
Okay.
It's been memorable, to be welcomed in by the athletic department. But this was about something bigger than sports. Something memorable has been the message that I'm receiving now from college students, not just athletes, but from college students and from alumni that have been here that are Hispanic. One of the messages that I received was from a student here said, I never knew where I belong. I never knew where my identity was because I was born here in the United States, but my family is Hispanic. I didn't know what I was, but because of Vamos Vols, now I know that I can be both. You want to talk about hitting in the heart? I got a message from a gentleman in Maryland. He was here in the 70s, and his father would take him to the games. His father is now 95 years old, still alive. And he said, Carlos, I just wanted to let you know that my father, they're Mexican. My father's been in Tennessee for a long time, and he never dreamed of the day that Tennessee would have Spanish broadcasting. He's 95 years old, and now all we do is listen to your broadcast in Spanish. That's something that you can't put into words. You can't put into words. Tennessee athletics it's important. It's been so memorable to be with those coaches, to be with those athletes. But more impactful and more memorable is to reach those people that are looking for their place that they belong. Absolutely.
And there it is, Carlos Lopez.
Oh, man. Thank you so
Spanish
much.
broadcaster, UT Athletics.
Wow.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. And I hope somebody sees this and sees that they too can find their place right here in East Tennessee. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Wow. Thank you.